Hello, Gemini. This is Michelle, and I'm here to do your April 2020 tarot reading. Such a difficult month, April 2020, for many of us, with the contagion spreading, the coronavirus. And so I want to say, as I am beginning, and we just had the Nine of Swords pop out, I want to say that I am praying for you and for your family, and that everyone remains strong and stays well at this time. This will be a Celtic cross spread for you, Gemini, and I'm using the classic Rider-Waite Tarot deck by US Games, illustrated by Pamela Coleman Smith, of course. And then I will bring in an affirmation for you from the Butterfly Affirmations by Alana Fairchild. This is a reading for our Gemini friends in the month of April, Gemini. Well, we have Temperance on the bottom of the deck, and so I'm just going to say, Gemini, to remain strong throughout this time period. If you are feeling some anxiety, who wouldn't be just listening to the news and watching all the changes around that just seems so different and odd? Temperance is saying that you have the strength to remain strong throughout this time, even if there are occasionally times when you are, I want to say, a little bit overwhelmed with all of the things that are going on in the world today. It's just a rare occurrence that we are really globally all undergoing a similar event, and that in and of itself can feel quite overwhelming. And now we have the Five of Cups coming in, and so suggesting that for some of the Gemini people, I want to say it can be a real challenge. And what I'm picking up is this idea of kind of being in a vortex or a spiral of worrisome thoughts. And it's almost like once they get started, it's hard to turn them off. It's hard to get out of that little whirlpool that's going on for some of you. And now we have the Four of Rods. And so, you know, while the story is developing here, I feel that for some of you, you had some very important positive goals ahead prior to this coronavirus setting in. For some of you, it actually could have been a wedding. This is the traditional card in the Rider-Waite deck for, let's say, a wedding, but it could be any kind of a celebration. I feel that you were working towards stability, let me say that. For some of you, I feel that you were working towards stability in a career or a job area of life, and that, well, it's no wonder that there are all these worries coming up, because now it can just be like that stability that I was working for, and I'm looking at the Four, of course, that stability that I was working toward and that I was really getting ready to celebrate about is suddenly no longer in front of me. And that hardly sounds like a prediction, does it? What I'm trying to say is it's so obvious that many of us are going through that right now that it doesn't sound like a prediction. That's what I'm trying to say. But it's coming up in your cards. Here it is in the cards. And so for some of you, that particular aspect of this situation, those of you that do make it to my particular channel in my reading, for some of you, that could be the emphasis at the time, is how perhaps I'm really picking up career, actually I have to say, but or some other type of development in life that was supposed to bring in stability suddenly does not look as though it's going to come about. And then we have the Four of Cups just backing that up. I just feel that you have gone from one extreme to another with this coronavirus event, towards really looking forward to the future and everything that it promised. And now just really pulling back. I can see for some of the Gemini people, you're just pulling back. And I'm hearing this, that some of you are saying that I cannot even believe that this happened. So for a few of you, it could be those very words almost, or that very sentiment is going through, is like, I cannot believe the timing of this and that this is happening now. All right, and so let's continue on though, because I have to tell you, I'm feeling very positive overall about the developments on a broader spectrum, let me say. And so I want to see what else the cards bring up, because things are going to change, Gemini. Things will change. There will be an opportunity, whatever opportunity it was perhaps that you were hoping was going to come into play. There will be a time for you to perhaps reschedule, or once again be able to look forward to that happiness and stability again. We have the Knight of Cups suggesting that actually, again, in the past, that there was a very positive message that came through to you. This could also be related to the joy that you were expecting to feel. And now we have the King of Cups. All right, and so the King of Cups coming in saying, you know, again, the situation is very, I want to say it's very flexible, but it's shifting all the time. Let's say we can see these sort of rolling seas here. And so we're in a time, we're in a period where things are in flux. But I have to say, Gemini, with this King coming up, what this is telling me is that you are going to get through this situation, and that you are going to find the emotional strength and the mental strength to see this through. I'm picking up a message for you, Gemini, and it is this: do not give up on your positive goals in life, whatever those were. Write them down on a piece of paper. This would be a wonderful time to just, if you are feeling like you're secluded or you have more time alone, to sit down and write those positive goals out for your life, because things are going to change. There will be a time for you to get back into the swing of things, into the Gemini swing of things, and by writing down those goals, writing down the things that you wish to accomplish in life. Here's the Chariot showing accomplishment for us. Reading those goals on a daily basis, what you would like your life to look like. This is going to help you to be more, I want to say, future oriented. Now, okay, that's a little bit of an interesting message, isn't it? Because currently, you know, when we are feeling a lot of anxiety, one mode of thought is that we just need to be more in the present and realize that everything is okay. Certainly that is true from a, we want to say like going into a meditation, let's say, where you're just very current and present in your own space, realizing that you are healthy, that you are breathing, if you are, yes, okay, and that things are good and there really isn't anything to worry about. But what I am picking up from this reading, I have to say, is being more future oriented and saying to yourself, things are going to turn around, things are going to shift, and when they do, I'm going to be ready to take off again. Here we have the Six of Cups coming in. All right, interesting. Okay, suggesting you might be actually really, next to what I had just said about future oriented, you might be thinking just a little bit about the past. So your thinking could be along these lines. Things were so good before. I had everything figured out. I knew where I was going. And the more sometimes that we can dwell on the past, if it was great, and compare it to the future, which is challenging, that can also be a little overwhelming. And so I'm getting this other message through. This is very specific for the Gemini people, particularly, is to be future oriented. Think about that positive future that is coming into the picture, and it will not be too long. We do have a ways to go with us, with this difficulty and these challenges, but things are going to change and get better. Gemini, I believe that many of you that are at this channel are very spiritual indeed, and I am picking up this message from the High Priestess to rely on that reservoir of spiritual strength. Use the time, if you have time, where you are alone, or more time if you are under a stay-at-home order, that sort of situation, to go into meditation, go into prayer, connect to the higher being, gain strength in that way, emotional strength, psychological strength, mental strength, and know that in the future things are going to be much better. Now we have the 10 of Swords coming in. Now I'm a little bit of a giggle, a little bit coming through, but here is the thing, Gemini, this is coming up for many of the signs where I'm getting repeated cards coming up. And so what this is telling me is that it is going to be a little bit of a challenge for Gemini. Let me say this, I'm going to pull 3 more cards actually for clarification on that 10. Gemini, you are a very social being. You like to communicate with other people, be around other people. It's very important for you to have that stimulus, I want to say, of other people around. There might be occasional Gemini person out there that just wants to be alone. That's of course possible. But I think with communication being so important, that having others to bounce ideas off of is very important for you. Just sharing, let me put it that way, just sharing ideas and communicating. And so I want to suggest for some of you to, if you're feeling like you are sort of pulling back a little bit and the worries are getting to be a little bit too much for you, I want to say this, reach out to other people. Reach out to other people through FaceTime, through texting, family members that can perhaps help you to see a little bit of humor in the situations that we're going through. I know it is very difficult. I'm not downplaying that for sure. But I am saying to reach out, make connections with other people, because I feel that is going to help you at this time. Especially if there are people that are sort of riding this wave with strength, I want to say, and positivity. And here we have the Ace of Wands. All right, I'm very happy to see that coming in. The Lovers, all right, beautiful to see, of course, representing Gemini, and the 9 of Rods. Okay, and so here's the thing, Gemini, wow. There you are, right in the middle. I have to say this. This is emphasizing a couple of themes that came up in the reading, and I feel that you were really on track for a particular conclusion and a celebration of some sort, and I feel that it had to do, for some of you, with work or career. Although for some of you it could be a relationship, a pinnacle in a relationship, like a wedding or something like that. You were getting ready to see this beautiful new start. I think you had a lot of fire and passion for where your life was headed and going, and that what's going on currently, it seems like this is going to be a very difficult obstacle to get past. But let me say this. With the 1 and the 9 coming in, what this is saying is this all will come to an end. This all will come to an end, and you will be able to start out on that new venture with just as much passion and positivity as you had before things really became so difficult and we're looking so bleak, and I'm specifically talking about the month of April. All right, and so Gemini, I'm just going to repeat a theme here while I pull an affirmation card for you, and it is this. Things will change. There is going to be a new start. You will be able to get back on track again. Write down those positive things that you had planned for your life, because they are a time, I should say, is going to come back into your life when you will be able to get back to those things. I see this as a very positive, very hopeful reading with some very important tips in it. And that was, again, to get back to your goals, write them down, communicate with other people, in of course safe ways. Okay, communicate with other people, and especially those people that can bring a little bit of joy and happiness into your life. All right, we are going to take a look at an affirmation card. This is for our Gemini friends, and it's interesting that we have a butterfly here with two representing the twins, two butterflies here on the same leaf. So certainly this message is for you. Everything happens according to divine timing for the best results. I'm so happy this came in for you, Gemini, because it brings up such an important point, and it is this: to trust in the divine timing, to trust in God, to trust in the higher power, that everything will certainly turn out for the best in time. Gemini, that's your reading for April 2020. I want to thank you so much for being here. As always, it is a pleasure and a privilege to read for you. I'll see you next time.